I have very few memories of ever flying in a plane, and if they were when I was a child, they were tiny little Cessnas or Beaver planes. But my first memory of flying in a 747 was when I was 21 years old. I flew from Anchorage, Alaska to Cleveland, Ohio. It was an absolutely amazing experience. It started off pretty horrendous. I wasn't even sure if the plane would take off because it was the onset of winter in Alaska. There was hail, sleet, snow, rain, and truly, when that plane finally took off, it seemed like a miracle in itself. It was such a low cloud ceiling, and to push through that huge cloud bank to get above the storm was amazing. To see the Chugach Range sparkling and glittering in the sun, the snow-covered mountains, was just jaw-dropping. And in that moment, I realized something that I knew logically, which is that the sun was always shining above the clouds in the storm. But I knew it viscerally, experientially in that moment. I knew that a pilot had an instrument called an attitude indicator that was used in flying to indicate what their relation was to the earth below. And that attitude indicator would let them know if they were rising into the stratosphere, maintaining their position above the earth, or if they were on a downward course for a terrible crash landing on the earth. And this instrument was called an attitude indicator, very much in relation to the attitude, meaning the direction that the plane would be going. And so hear this: change your attitude, change your destiny. The insight, though, was not in that moment. I knew these were pieces of the puzzle coming together for me, but the final piece came together when I was studying psychology in Arizona at a private liberal arts school. I learned about a key child development stage at the age of 8 to 10 months called object permanence. And it's the precursor to the game of hide and seek. Is so amazing to a child and delightful, because object permanence is the stage that comes when a child realizes fundamentally that something will continue to exist even if they cannot see it, touch it, hear it, or taste it. And so prior to that's when you play hide and seek, they think when you've hidden your face that you have completely disappeared and that you are gone forever. And when you reappear, that you have reappeared forever. It's kind of like when you go out the door and you leave your dog behind. They think you're gone forever. This fundamental developmental stage is a benchmark. Jean Piaget, the Swiss child development gurus, his take on this stage was that it was one of the most important accomplishments of a child's development, because without this concept, objects had no permanent existence. And it was like the beginning of reasoning and the beginning of problem solving. And so when I flew above those clouds, I realized it was the beginning of what I call hope permanence. And it was, for me, this place of emotional or spiritual, like this revelation and understanding that no matter what happened in the storms of my life, I could fly above those storms, knowing that those storms were limited and that there was possibility beyond it. What was key for me also to realize was that children have to learn. This is a stage, and it's a developmental milestone, but it takes a while to learn. And just like a pilot learning to fly with that attitude indicator, I needed to learn how my attitude changed everything. My attitude about the storm, my attitude about my circumstances was totally influential. My destiny, my future, my success was directly related to my ability to get above that storm. That was the beginning of this crystallization in my understanding and my formation of like how your biggest problem is your greatest opportunity, but this place of beginning to live in success even though your circumstances don't look like they're successful. A place of living in victory even though you haven't yet won your battles. Today, I leave you with this. You can have hope. You too can set your course so that by changing your attitude, you can change your destiny. You can set that course to rise above those storms in life and understand that it takes time. Give yourself grace. It takes time to learn this. You have to put it into practice. And I would love to feel your journey. So thanks for sharing your time with me today.